what's up? Mark here from the Backpacking Gear Net, and today I want to talk about how to give the gift of warmth to that backpacker that you love. This is the Get Out Gear down puffy blanket, and what makes this thing so special is it only weighs 1 pound, 1 ounce, and it is very inexpensive for a down puffy blanket. Now, I've absolutely grown to love this blanket. I use it in several different ways. I use it, A, as a blanket. B, I like to use it also as a poncho because this one's got snaps on it that allows it to be a poncho. That allows it to be a poncho, and I have found that this blanket is great at keeping me warm at camp. I usually don't hike with a down puffy jacket on because you don't want to sweat. You want to be warm enough that you're not cold. You want to allow all the moisture and stuff to evaporate off your body. And so I typically don't put anything like this on until I get to camp. Once I've set up camp out on trail, I'll take and I'll put something like this on because then you'll get cold really quick if you don't. The reason I like this so much is because it is much cozier to actually sit in your chair and just relax, talk to your friends, and just enjoy the evening. I find it to actually be warmer for me than a down puffy jacket until it gets way too low of a temperature. Once it's below freezing, I tend to want my down puffy jacket, but anything above that, this is a great poncho to have. And the nice thing is at 1 pound, 1 ounce, I don't have to carry another jacket with me. It replaces that, and it's multi-useful because not only can you use it like this, but when it's summertime and it's too hot for really much of a blanket, this thing will keep you warm all the way down to about 45 degrees. And if you're a hot sleeper like me, you can go even a little bit more than that with just this. And that's pretty nice because when I'm backpacking, I tend to go up where it's cold and then go down where it's hot. Especially in California, we have these extreme temperature changes. So when I'm up where it's cold, it could be down below freezing, and I'll use my regular backpacking quilt. And if it's too cold, I can actually add insulation to it with this, and it'll give it another 10 to 15 degrees colder that it can go because of this extra insulation put into it. So this is multi-useful in that way. To also take and pack it up, and I have a little pillowcase that I can stick it in, and it makes a really nice down pillow. It's 100% nylon, and it is so soft to the touch. And the feathers in here are a 650 down. Now, I should explain to you what that means. Now, what we got here is some down feathers. What you'll see is they kind of puff up. Some of them puff up less, and some of them puff up more. And what that does is it's the loft, the puff of the feather that actually traps the heat in that space. You need to have a feather with loft. Have feathers that are smaller like this that have less loft. You actually need more of them in order to be just as warm. If you have feathers like this that are a lot more fluffy, a lot more loft to them, you'll have to have less of them. So what they do is they put a number system to it. So the higher the number, the better the loft. Now 650 is a good, reasonable loft. And what that also does is with a 650 loft, you actually get it less expensive. So when they talk about the quality of the feathers, it's really not like your feathers at 650 aren't a good quality compared to the higher end feathers. It just means how much loft the feathers have on average. So an 800 and above is going to be a really pluff loft, and that is going to be very expensive. So 650 where it's 80% down and 20% feathers is a great price point to come in for this blanket. Now, I'll put the price on the screen because this blanket is very reasonably priced. The dimensions of this blanket is 80 by 54 inches, and the loft of it is about 1.5 to 2 inches. This blanket has been with me on a lot of trips, and I absolutely love it. But I have a new favorite, and what that is this is the Get Out Gear Mega Puffy Blanket. So a lot of people said that they wanted more loft in it, that they felt like they needed more loft, and they responded with that by giving you essentially the same blanket, but more insulation in it, more down feathers in it. It's not as light. It's 1 pound, 6 ounces is what the weight of this is. This is a sewn through baffle construction. And that means that wherever there is a sewn through baffle, they touch each other and there's no air gap in between with loft. So they also came out with another thing that was new, and that was the original blanket in camouflage. So for those of you who absolutely love camouflage, well, now they got a blanket for you in camouflage. And the nice thing about the camouflage blanket is it is 1 ounce heavier than the original, so it's 1 pound, 2 ounces. And the material on it is a little more durable, which is fantastic because you can use this for all sorts of things. Not only everything that I just told you about, but you can also use it to hang as a shade or just to block the wind or all sorts of things. So I love that. It's a multi-useful item. I put a bunch of links down below. Please hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.